bisector, congruent segments, perpendicular lines, parallel lines, and a midpoint. So remember, get rid of everything here. I can just press reload. It's all gone. Now, actually, let's do congruent segments first. Uh, that's one. And what I'm going to do is just line them up. And congruent segments are the same length. And they're not quite exact. So you're supposed to be able to measure these. So I'm going to go click it, label it. That's the distance. I'm going to go click this one and label it. And that's the distance. Obviously and clearly, they are not the same. So what I'm going to work to do is to make them the same length. Do they have to be side by side? Nope. I just need them to be the same length. I need them to be congruent. I need them to be equal in length. And there's my congruent segments. They're congruent. Next, I want to work on uh, segment bisector. I want it to divide it in half. So what I'm going to do here is click this little point right here. I'm going to So a point can divide a segment in half. So how am I going to determine that? Well, I'm going to select, I'm going to get the distance of this whole segment here. Just go back. I'm going to click on the segment and get the distance here. It's 7.21. And now I'm going to get the distance of the smaller segment. It's 3.54. So easy peasy thing to do would be to extend this to 10 or some whole number. Doesn't matter. I'm doing 10. And then I'm going to extend this one to 5 because I know a segment bisector divides a segment into halves. So I can keep the segment bisector as a point, but I think they want you to make it a segment. So I'm going to go hit that endpoint right there and just come out. Doesn't really matter where. And all I need to do is make sure on this side it's 5. This whole thing is 10. That means on this side, this segment is 5 as well. And we can check by going over it, selecting the box, clicking on the segment, and seeing what that distance is. And this happens to be 5. All right. So I have segments. This is my bisector. So I'm going to label it. And there we go. I'm going to label it. Select, label, label, select, label, label, select, label. And that point C divides that whole segment into halves. And one thing I want to be clear about is the segment CD. Doesn't matter where D is at. The segment AB is still consists of two segments on either side that are congruent. All right, I'm actually gonna follow up with parallel lines. So what I want to do is create a segment here, and then I want to um, create something parallel, and there we go. All I did was click on the original segment I wanted to be parallel and got the parallel line. Um, we can try that again with a different segment. Let's say I'm gonna click on CD and then drop a parallel line. Bow, parallel. All right. Perpendicular lines. If I want a perpendicular line, I'm going to click on CD and drop my perpendicular line. I can click here, drop a perpendicular line. I can click here, drop a perpendicular, here, drop a perpendicular, and here. All right? All right, guys, take care.